your YE ticket, get your YE ticket to ride.
This is your entertainment ticket. Latest and greatest movie reviews and interviews. This is your entertainment ticket. YEticket.com. Yeah.
Hey, this is Al McGee with your Entertainment Ticket. I'm here with Billy Corben. He's the director, producer of some great documentaries like Cocaine Cowboy 1 and 2, Limelight, and The U. I'm here for him. Hopefully he will reveal a lot to me about his new project. Billy, welcome.
Thanks. I should have brought some phone books to stand on.
Nah, you cool, buddy. You cool. Now, tell us what you're working on now.
Right now, we just released a 30 for 30 short, streaming now for free. You can watch it. It's about 14 minutes on ESPN.com and Grantland.com, Bill Simmons' website. It's called Collision Course, The Murder of Don Aronow. And it's about this guy who back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s was the Henry Ford of the offshore powerboat racing industry. He designed and raced and was the world champion in some of the most popular boats. Even if you're not a boat person, you've heard of Cigarette, you've heard of Donzi, you've heard of Formula.
Right.
This guy, Don Aronow, created all those brands. And of course, his boats were the fastest. So in the 80s in Miami, they were the favorite boats of drug smugglers. And then what happened is he was friends with George H.W. Bush and got a contract to build drug interdiction boats for the Coast Guard. So he was building the boats for the drug smugglers and the people chasing the drug smugglers. And he got murdered in February of 87. Shot and killed, literally assassinated, a gangland style, right outside of his boat factory in what is now Aventura on what was called Thunderboat Row, because all the boat factories were right there, and it was kind of under mysterious circumstances, needless to say, and we examined that in Collision Course.
Wow, he sounds like the type of guy back in the 20s and 30s, the whiskey runners back in the hills, bootleg and things like that. So he's helping the drug dealers modern day today.
But he wasn't a drug smuggler himself. He was a boat guy. But of course, I think in the 80s into the 90s, more than half of the world champion boat racers in the world were drug smugglers, because those are the guys who could afford to build the fastest boats.
So why did you pick this guy?
It was a pretty interesting story. It's a great Miami story. It's really a kind of a sub-story of the Cocaine Cowboys era that we've been covering for a lot of years now. And so that's the one that's out right now, and there's many more to come, obviously.
So you are Floridian. You were born here in Florida, right?
I was born in Fort Myers.
Yeah, Fort
Dunk
Myers.
City.
Yeah,
Dunk
really?
City, that's right. They call it Dunk City because of the basketball team at Florida Gulf Coastal University.
And so many of your stories is about Florida. Why is that?
Absolutely. Well, it's what a great place for great characters and great stories, and unmined in many ways. I mean, there's a lot of filmmakers and storytellers in New York and Los Angeles, so you hear those stories, and Chicago too. How many times are you going to hear about Bugsy or Al Capone, or the New York Mafia? So there's a lot of worthwhile characters and stories here in Florida to tell that we wanted to take advantage of.
Now, you're also working on some backyard fighting. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's Dogfight. It's spelled D-A-W-G. It's not about Michael Vick. And it's about the subculture of illegal, unsanctioned, bare-knuckle brawls down in West Prime, which is the neighborhood that Kimbo Slice came out of. And what he really did was he inspired a younger generation of young men to literally try to fight their way out of their circumstances. And you have an underserved community, and you have folks who become criminalized, and once they're in the system and they become felons, don't have a lot of other job opportunities, so they come out and they participate in these bare-knuckle brawls so that you could videotape them, upload them to the internet, and hopefully they'll get discovered by pro MMA fighters, pro MMA promoters or trainers. And a lot of these guys, we spent almost 2 years making this movie, working on it and following these fighters around. And over the course of that 2 years, a lot of guys went pro right from the backyard, and at least one of them didn't live that long.
Wow. That sounds very good. I mean, something I want to see, and I'm sure my fans of your Entertainment Ticket would like to see also. Now, you're a producer and a director. Tell us some of the obstacles that you really face when you try to put your films together, and also to get them in market.
Well, for starters, sometimes we interview athletes and celebrities. We're doing a 4-hour doc miniseries for VH1 called The Tanning of America, One Nation Under Hip Hop, based on a book, The Tanning of America, by Steve Stout, who used to run the hip hop division of Interscope Records. And so when you're interviewing people of, we'll say, that caliber, I mean, you're talking about Dr. Dre, Diddy, Rick Rubin, Leor Cohen, Ron Howard, Brian Grazer, who produced Eminem's 8 Mile movie. You've got, I mean, the list goes on. Mariah Carey. Sometimes the logistics of making that happen can be a little bit complicated. Same thing with athletes. They got crazy schedule. They got people who are handling them. And so just to kind of lock them down and schedule the interview. Well, first of all, to get them to agree to an interview, number one. Number two, to lock down the scheduling and the logistics and everything. And when we shoot interviews, I think all of our movies have a very distinct style. You know, we have a style for the interviews. It's either in a stage or it's on location. It's got a particular look. Maybe there's a dolly. And so when you try to maintain that consistency, it can be tough, especially when you're chasing people. All right, you know. Look, you know, you gotta
exactly.
chase people around, you know, and so it can be a little bit more complicated when you roll with a larger crew like we do, and you want to make it look a certain way, and those people, you know, celebrities trust you to make them look hot, right? So you gotta make sure they look good. So that can be complicated, definitely.
And also, like, funding. What about funding? Is that hard for you now to get funding for your films?
Well, it's getting easier and easier, and we're getting busier and busier, which is great. I always say the measure of success in this business is that you get to work again. You know, you get to make another movie, another TV show, and the economics of the business are changing a lot. You know, it used to be we'd go out and we'd try to get investors to raise the money for a project, and it's a lot tougher to do that, not only to get the investors, but also to kind of show that there's a profit to be made or recoupment to be achieved. So now we're kind of more of we'll call it a services business, where people pay us, we take a fee, a percentage of the budget to physically make these movies. So we go out now and we pitch to people, and we've had a lot of great luck with some of our projects that we've developed in-house. And now people are coming to us and saying, hey, we'd love for you guys to work on this show for us, and here's the budget, and we'll pay you to do it. So it's been we've been very blessed, and we've been at it a long time. The company's about almost 13 years old.
Wow. Well, Billy, thanks, man. I wish I could pick your brain some more.
Anytime.
But I really appreciate this time, and thank you for taking time on your entertainment ticket. Hey, keep watching. I've always have some new surprises.
You are watching YETicket.com with Al McGee, movie reviews and interviews. This is YETicket.com. YETicket.com, your entertainment ticket.
We are your entertainment ticket, that's right. YETicket.com. We are your entertainment